Check, check, check. Check, check. Hey folks, welcome to the live stream. We will be getting underway in about 10 minutes. I'm Greg Harris. Let me say hi. Oh, that's not working. Oh, that's also bad. Let me see. Hi. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. So I'm Greg. I'm coach from Central and West Side and Elkhorn, and I'm going to be here kind of guiding you through tonight. So listen up because I am giving you exclusive live score updates, completely unofficial. They do not include any sort of time penalties. I'm not tracking time. I can barely track scores, but I'm going to try and keep you updated both over the air and in the chat. I'm going to try and give you kind of an insight into the strategy that's going into the different types of moves that coaches make and things like that. So that's what you get on the live stream. You get sort of an inside scoop into what's happening here at the bout. And yeah, so we're going to get started. Right now we're gathering judges, we're gathering audience, and we're trying to coalesce here at the Omaha Healing Arts Center. If you are nearby, you can still get down here. That would be pretty cool. We do still need judges and people to go crazy for all these kids and their amazing poetry. So Louder Than a Bomb, Bout 2 of 2014, Great Plains, kicks off in, 10:15. So stay tuned. I'm going to turn you back over. I'm going to turn you in the direction of one Andrew Beck. Look at him. He's so dreamy. So just stay tuned and we'll be underway. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. Please share the link. Share the hashtag on both Twitter and Facebook. The hashtag is LTABGP. The link is youtube.com/LTABOmaha. We're working on that. But yeah, this is Louder Than a Bomb, Great Plains. And yeah, once it gets going, it is going to be nonstop high school poetry from some truly remarkable students. So thanks a lot for checking in with us tonight, and we'll get things underway shortly. And this is how you're mostly going to hear me tonight. In your ears, not in your face, and keep it pointed at the poets. So yeah. Also, you can donate at LTAB Omaha or LTABGP.com. I think we are now on that GP tip for our website. .org. Oh.
I'll check around.
I need you to hold this thing right here.
So far, you're within my skill set. If I got to move or anything, then game over. Loading head crit. Only takes 7 weeks to watch them. Let's see if I have the second one, Some random subject. It's Western Iowa. The product I will be. So I'll be right there. Well, do you need to check it out?
The camera adjustment. Thank you, sir.
Look this way without really looking this way. Can we try that? Perfect.
Check, baby, it's not on. It's not on, I can't check it. Check, baby, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, baby, 1, 2, 3.
Check, baby, check, baby.
You want to level off 40? Whoa.
Kill it. Let's kill the main.
And then what I would also do is I would test it with Deanna on a mic and the two of you decide the way you're going to be for this.
This is this mic. This is the mic from about this far away. I'll use more descriptive language in the future.
This is this mic close to the mic. This is this mic from far away. This is this mic from close up. This is this mic from far away. This is this mic from close up. This is this mic from far away. Okay. Just line them up back here?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they need to be set to off, or will you just turn them off?
Just some quick sound checks, folks.
Okay.
I'm thinking that whichever of us is not, like we can.
There are our hosts for the evening, Andrew Eck and Zedika Poindexter.
And if necessary, be the same.
Looking lovely as always, both of them.
That works.
Cool. And then we can just.
Usually announce score. Like, I know you announce not all scores. Okay, good. Because last night I was like, am I?
Yep. We don't announce scores and we don't announce penalties.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Of course, encouraging is good to
You want to ask again about people who don't know?
I was just about to invite you to see if you can do that.
Yeah, please do that.
Okay. Is anyone in this room unaffiliated with all of the teams that are competing? If so, please raise your hand. Not you, Dan Lehman. Is anyone in this room not here with one of the poets?
I mean, could John Ratz do it?
I'd rather John Ratz not.
Okay.
Okay, we've got judges back.
Okay.
We're supposed to have one in our open mic, and the people screwed it up.
All right.
I trust them. I mean, they asked them to step up, right? Good, as long as they're out in the alley, right? Correctly. Let's go to the alley.
So again, folks, the link to share, if you want to pass this on to your folks, use LTABGP, LTABGP, as the hashtag on Twitter and Facebook so that you can track the conversation online. And if you want to share this link, please do. We are live at youtube.com/LTABOmaha. LTABOMAH. And not only is it live at LTAB Omaha on YouTube, it is also archived. So yeah, you can actually watch the full bouts as they happen with the commentary before the excerpted videos get posted by our archive crew. So it's pretty cool. I think it's cool. Do you guys think it's cool? Oh yeah, and be in the chat. I'll be in the chat. I'll be giving score updates both live on the mic and in the chat room. They will be unofficial scores, not counting any penalties for content, swearing, biased language, disqualifications for plagiarism, although we don't anticipate those, or any time penalties. So all of the scores will be unofficial. So yeah.
12-16 Howard.
I'm here to answer questions in the chat, though. So, hi Jennifer, hi Rachel. Thanks for tuning in. If there are other people in the chat, please shout yourselves out. And yeah, we're just looking for our 4th and 5th judges, and then we will be able to kick this show off. So. Yay! And also, if you're a person who has money in their bank account, you can donate to support this fantastic series of events at
1216.
ltabomaha.org. There's a big yellow button that says donate. It's a pretty cool thing to do.
We have 3,
Yes, so we need
I think. Kristen Kruger might be one of the judges.
I'm unclear as to who that actually is.
She is the redhead talking to Becca Shaw right now. Yeah, wherever Ruth went. There's Ruth. I think Ruth is getting Lindsay Baker to judge.
Oh,
Yeah, but not in this bout.
okay.
So, I don't know.
What is wrong with me?
Can you guys?
Could I have a representative from each team join me on the stage for the bout draw?
We're doing okay. Yeah. We have a representative from Burke and a representative from Bellevue East.
Hello. Thank you. Of course. That's right.
Okay, Bellevue East, great. Then Marian, Northwest. Can you bring us a student?
I love to make for them. They're going to end up in the dictionary.
Does Burke understand what's going on right now? You from Burke? Welcome. All right.
Okay, all right, so what's going to happen? You're going to draw a card. Are these ace through 3? Is that right? They're in some order. Whoever has the card with the lowest numerical value, ace is 1, goes first in the first round. Whoever has the second lowest card goes second, and then the third lowest card goes third in the first round. Fourth lowest card goes last in the first round. So you guys are going to draw, and then you're going to tell me what you drew. First, we can take pictures. To draw it however you want to. Okay, go. Go. Perfect. Okay, who's got, what cards do you have?
Elvis. Oh,
Okay, you all have Elvis. Great. So you're with Marian, right? Perfect. Then who has
Here's Chris
the
August. He's one of our coaches tonight, coaching Omaha Northwest High School, a second-year team in the tournament.
And then Northwest.
There's Adika Poindexter,
Cool.
Right.
one of our coaches
Thank
for the
you,
evening.
ladies.
I'm going to check in with your coaches real fast, and then we'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Kind of listening in on the bout draw. I think maybe Northwest is in fourth position.
Okay, you're doing great.
Cool.
So, coaches need to know the draw. Sorry, Ruth. Coaches need to know the draw, and then
That
also
can be somewhat of an
we can
advantage
remind
in where you
coaches that
draw.
if they have early to leave the microphone and exactly where it is when they're done, we'll take care of it.
Yes.
We forgot to exchange it.
So are you gonna
Sometimes it
make
can
that
pay off to
announcement?
be last in the
Okay,
round.
so we got
Take advantage
it.
of some
So,
of the way the scores
yeah.
grow and
All right,
the
then I'm gonna
judges
grab
can
my
pick up
keyboard
on
and get ready to
as
drop
the
this
night
sucker
goes
off.
on. But it also changes where you get to perform in later rounds. So. All right, so yeah, you will be hearing from poets from these schools in this order in the first round. It'll be Marian, Bellevue East, Burke, and then Omaha Northwest. In the second round, Marian drops to the back. It's Bellevue East, Burke, Northwest, and then Marian. Then it's Burke, Northwest, Marian, and Bellevue East. And in the last round, it is Northwest, Marian, Bellevue East, and Burke. The final round is a group piece round, and that will go in the order lowest to highest score at that point. So whoever is leading the bout at that point going into the fifth round, which is a 4-person group piece round. The other rounds can be individual or group piece, but that fifth round has to have a 4-person group piece. And the leading team will get to the advantage, or the honor, or whatever, of going last in that round. So yeah, but teams can use individual poems in the first 4 rounds. They can also drop in one additional group piece of either 2, 3, or 4 poets in one of those rounds if they so choose. We had 2 teams last night take advantage of that. 2 teams did not. And it went well for those teams that could and did because they ended up in first and second in the bout. So we'll see how that new rule change affects this year. This bout we have Marian, which is a first-year school. Bellevue East has been with the program for, I think, 3 years now. Burke is a second-year school. They were on a combined team last year, and Northwest is a second-year school as well. So a mix of veterans and relative novices. This is Marian's, I believe Marian's first year.
And then how official does this have to be? Like, can I do co-coaches or nothing?
Man, we should give credit to our DJ whose tunes you're hearing right now. That is Brent Crampton from House of Loom in Omaha, Nebraska, on the 1 2s. They're about to celebrate their 8-year anniversary as a dance party, and they've been in the space for a few years, so it's a nice, positive, sort of safe space dedicated dance club. So yeah, props to do.
You want to do this on your innate thing?
Huh?
Here come Andrew. You gotta get the night started.
I can do that.
You want to?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, hold on.
If we have it written down, I can also do it, but I just don't remember it.
Okay. And I say spoken word to be heard. Did the poetry slam the last one? No. Do that.
Sure.
All right, y'all. We're going to get this together with a little call and response. I'm going to be one of your hosts for the evening. I am Zadika Poindexter. Welcome. All right, everybody's got a job this evening, and one of your jobs as our audience and our participants is to keep the energy up. So we're going to start with a little call and response. So when I say spoken, you say word. Spoken. Word. Spoken. Word. When I say to be, you say heard. To be. Heard. To be. Heard. And when I say poetry, you say slam. Poetry. Slam. Poetry. Slam. Poetry. Slam. Welcome to Louder Than a Bomb 2014.
I really hope everyone played along at home with that little call and response.
It is lovely to see all of you this evening, myself and the wonderful Mr. Andrew Eck.
Hello.
Hello! We will be your cruise directors through this poetic experience. Buckle up, y'all. It's going to be amazing. All right, you're going first?
I can, yeah. Okay, cool. How many of you have never been to a poetry slam before?
Lies and propaganda.
Okay, actually, I bet a lot of you are telling the truth, but it's okay. Cool. So slam poetry was invented in the 1980s by a Chicago poet and construction worker named Mark Smith.
So what?
Okay, we're going to need to do this better. So we're going to backtrack. It's like parenthetical when I tell you how things go. Like, you heard the so what? And this is like a whole room thing. This brings us together. We can like unify and shouting at the hosts. Okay? So trying again. Slam poetry was invented in the 1980s by a Chicago poet and construction worker named Mark Smith. So what? Oh, you guys are so good. You're so good. Okay. Mark was running a poetry reading. It was pretty okay, and then he decided it would be way better if he gave audience members scoreboards. And then back in 2001, Kevin Coble and Anna West started Louder Than a Bomb.
So what?
There we go.
That's great.
Now we're here. We're like the third largest youth poetry slam in the world here in the Louder Than a Bomb Great Plains. So that's kind of cool.
Woo!
It's good. I kind of like it.
Yeah. All right, so remember that throughout this experience, this is all about you, audience. So this is interactive. You're in too many situations in your everyday life where you have no control over what's coming at you. In this situation, you have all the power. You have all the control. You exist, right? Yeah. You have opinions, right? Yeah. If you make sure you holler them when we're in this bout, it is your job to feed us that energy. We need you to make this work.
Do feel free to shout along at home.
Okay, so here's the thing. You're going to have, we have 4 teams. Omaha Northwest, Omaha Burke, Marian High School, and also Bellevue East. These teams are made of between 4 and 10 high school poets who've been working with a coach for the entire school year, pretty much. Which is pretty sweet, yeah. All thanks to the Best Writers Collective, which is that fellow with the bowling shirt. And so, these teams, they're going to be 5 rounds. First 4 rounds, these teams are going to send up probably an individual, but maybe a group of more than one poet. They're going to read poems. Poems have to be 3 minutes or 3 minutes, 10 seconds or less. Can't use props, costumes, musical accompaniment, animals, fireworks, or non-competing poets, which is to say that like only competing poets can participate in this process, unless like you as the audience want to like holler and snap and be your rad selves. Please consider being your rad selves. Otherwise, poems will be free from profanity, sexually explicit and/or pornographic language, gratuitous violence, any of a number of like racial, ethnic, gender-biased, homophobic, religious, ableist, or otherwise discriminatory slurs. We don't do that here. We really want this to be as safe a space as possible. Also, some of our poets are writing about like really heavy stuff. They might or might not choose to issue trigger warnings for this. If you are in a place right now where you're thinking just, gosh, I have so much heartbreak that I don't think I can handle anymore, and you think that maybe tonight, instead of being here, it'd be a better choice for you to eat ice cream, that's okay. That's okay. We want you here. We definitely want you here. Just like, this is a place where like our poets are able to work through this stuff, and that's okay. Otherwise, each poem will be scored like in the interest of creating a safe and harmonious emotional space. We're asking 5 audience members to score each of these poems on a scale of 0.0 to 10.0, wherein the scale represents like how moved they are. 0.0 is, oh my gosh, I felt like time just stopped, it was horrible. 10.0 is like, oh my gosh, I felt like time just stopped and it's amazing. I'm levitating off of my seat and I'll never stop levitating because time stopped. Yeah, there you go. Just like.
Go in, Neil. All right, so what's going to happen is this is going to happen in 4 rounds. So in the first 4 rounds, you're going to hear mostly individual poems. You'll have one poet coming up here using this mic to give you their story. Now, it is also possible in these first 4 rounds that a group of 2 to 4 poets might also come up here and decide to share a story together, because it's also another interesting dynamic. So expect that might happen. The poems are in a predetermined order, which the team's are already aware of, so they already know which order they will be going up. We will also announce that from the stage so everybody's prepared for what's about to happen next.
Right.
Now, the 5th round is what requires a 4-person group piece from every team. So instead of maybe a duet or a trio, which you may have seen in the first 4 rounds, what you might get is a wall of youth poetry up here. 4 microphones, 4 voices, and more pleasure than you can possibly imagine. That round is going to be amazing as well. Now, this is what's going to happen, because I need to make sure we do some housekeeping with 2 different people, 2 different sets of people. First of all, my judges, where y'all at? I love y'all. All right, this is how this is going to go down. You're going to score every poem from 0 to 10. Now remember, 0 means you wanted time to stop or possibly rewind so you can undo that experience. 10 is the best thing you've ever heard and you want to rewind time so you can do it over and over and over and over again. So you make sure that you keep these in mind. There are a range of scores. Remember, range of scores that you can use. And make sure that you're staying consistent. Staying consistent means that if you hear a poem in the beginning of the slam, you're like, all right, that's a 7.5. If you hear a poem later that you like better, give it a higher score. And if you hear a poem later that you don't like as much, give it a lower score, as opposed to having the dreaded score creep, which basically means judges get tired of having all this audience feedback with all their feelings, and then they're like, okay, everybody gets a 10, which is great, but not necessarily consistent. So make sure you're consistent throughout the night. Y'all got me, judges? Yeah. We good? Yeah. All right, now, audience. We don't know these people that well. They were just here and they didn't know y'all. So we let them be judges. Now, are their opinions more valid than yours? If you hear something that you love and the judges give it a 2, what do you do? And if they give that poem that melted your soul and made your heart sing a 10, what do you do? Oh no, y'all gonna have to stop playing with me. You're gonna need to do that just a little bit better now. One more again. If somebody gives a poem you love a 10, just what do you do? Now. That's what I'm talking about, judges. But always remember, Poetry Slam is about community and it's about family. The judges are family and so are you. So while we might not always agree, you're going to have to be respectful in your feedback. You do not get to mess with my people. The judges are part of this as well, all right?
All right, speaking of family, I've got a few people to say hi to. If you would please, audience, join me in enthusiastically waving to our DJ, Brett Crampton. To our photographers, Kevin and Eric. The t-shirt table. To Matt Mason. And to the internet. All right, if you have a telephone, like one of those electronic phone devices that you sometimes see people having, and you feel like texting to someone who is not here, a means of making sure that they can participate without having to actually get here. We're live streaming every single bout at youtube.com/LTABOMAHA. That's youtube.com/LTABOmaha. And once you're done with that, turn your phones off. Like not to vibrate, off.
Andrew, before you turn your phones off, though, look at these sheets. Go to one of these URLs and get money.
Do it after the bat. Do it after the bat. Okay.
All right, do we feel like we're ready?
I think we're
Do y'all think we're ready to get started? No. Before we get started, is it fun to go first, y'all? Do you enjoy that? To ensure that none of our poets from our competing teams have to go first, what we do is we have what some people like to call a palate cleanser, a cleansing poet. Do we do that? What do you want? All right. So what we're going to do is give up a sacrificial poet. Judges, pay attention to this poet. They're going to be the person that you judge every poem after by. If you hear something after this young person you like better, again, higher score. If you hear something you like not as much, give it a lower score. Judges, are y'all ready to get started with your calibration poet? Audience, are y'all ready to kick off tonight's Louder Than a Bomb Bout? All right, now give it up for your sacrificial poet, Niara Williams.
Hi, my name is Marian Williams, and this is my poem. Nini, short for Niara, the full name meaning high purpose. My father is proud of his children's Swahili names. Despite the world's inability to pronounce them, despite the fact that I must provide a pronunciation on most of my name tags, Niara looks like Niera, Niera, Niara, Niera, Nier, and sometimes trips slowly and uncertainly out of mouths like Niagara, as if I've misspelled my own name without a G. So, after they first learn my name, I give them the proper pronunciation. They sigh a mixture of embarrassment and relief. What a pretty name! Like they aren't sure if it should be. I then offer the option of Nini. One sweet syllable repeated twice. It is simple and easy to spell, unless they assume it's a weird black name with too many syllables, and they don't know why we can't just give our children normal names, as though normality and beauty can be measured by the Western meter stick. Every child with a difficult name knows that people will destroy it, gnash it to pieces in their mouth, make jokes out of it, blame the parents for it. Some people wonder how a woman can carry a life for 9 months, bear the pain of labor, hold a small wonder in her arms, and name it Laquisha. Laquisha originating from Laquisha, a Swahili name meaning the favorite. Deja, like the French word meaning already, because her mother could feel her strength and spirit before she was even born. Aliyah, an Arabic name rising above the English language, and the word exalted. Alexis, Greek in origin, she means defender. Alexis will spend a disproportionate amount of her life defending her right to be named. Deja will endure the sneers of introduction again and again and again as people are offended by what her mother so lovingly crowned her birth certificate. Aliyah, they don't teach you that they never emancipated your etymology. Many still believe your name is a hodgepodge of ghetto gibberish, a side effect of our destructive culture. Let them wish we were Amy. Let them wish we were Becky. Let them wish we were Mary, Emma, Brittany, Kayla, Emma, anything but Alexis, Aliyah, Deja, Laquisha, you will always be the favorite.
And that is Niara Williams in our sacrificial poet spot, or calibration poet. It's a strong poem.
That was and is Niara Williams.
So we'll see how it pays
Judges,
off.
I'm going to give you a little bit.
And how it affects the
You're
judges'
going to raise
scores.
your scorecard. Please make sure that you're writing so
Sometimes
clearly that I can absolutely
strong
see
sacrifice
everything.
can really shape things for about.
Keep your scorecards up until I am done reading. All right. 3, 2, 1, up. We have 1 score, 2 scores, 3 scores, 4 and 5. All right. From low to high, we have an 8.2, 8.5, 8.5, 9.0, and a 9.0. Let's give a round of applause for the poet. And then let us please keep that applause going as we welcome to the stage our first competitive poem in the night from Marian High School.
So that's a strong sacrifice poet score. So we'll see if that leads to a really tight bout. And here we have our first competing poets from Marian High.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. My name is Araya.
I'm Charlotte.
And we will be performing Everyone Knows Teenage Sex is Mediocre. People make fun of me because I am 18 and have never been kissed.
If I was still innocent, I would have a better relationship with my parents.
Seriously. On my 18th birthday, my step-great-grandma wrote on my Facebook wall, "Happy 18th birthday, 18 and never been kissed."
I would still be the quirky little girl they knew, the one who would give them every detail about where she was going and who she would be with, the one that would never fail a class because her boyfriend dumped her, and then
he didn't,
and then he did,
and then he didn't,
and then he did, and she was just too sad that semester.
I live in a generation where chastity is a rarity and pressure is a breath away.
I broke up with my first boyfriend after 2 months because he hadn't kissed me, and all the girls with hickeys convinced me that that was the way to do this thing called love.
My peers have an unseen, unspoken list of firsts that is a rite of passage. It is the phrase that identifies growing up.
If I was still innocent, I would be less me.
We were in his car. I was wearing black sweatpants cut above my knee and my favorite AC/DC shirt. I was texting my dad, and he was tapping Cherry Coke by Savage Garden on my arm, trailing his fingers down and giving me goosebumps. A first check on the list. I remember not being able to concentrate when I found myself in his arms. First, check, and then I felt his cool breath on my lips. He bent down and kissed me. Check.
A boy once said to me, "People are like cars. The more one is used, the less they're worth." Oh God, please give me those pieces I gave you back again. I need to be whole because apparently without them, I'm not valuable.
Grandma said it didn't count because my eyes were open and I squeaked. I didn't know what was going on. Uncheck.
I wish I was in your shoes.
I wish I wasn't such a goody two-shoes.
Because you have really cute shoes.
Because these shoes are tied really tight and still really new.
And you're a senior.
And I'm a senior, so the end is near. And all these people are ahead of me.
And you haven't wasted all your special firsts on stupid
high school boys.
High school toys. Because the only things wrong with teenage girls are teenage boys.
I wish I had your knowledge on what to do. I'm so sick of not knowing, of not feeling, of not being included in the hushed whispers and giggles and the pauses of stories, of not connecting, of being afraid. I wish I was brave enough to act my age.
I suppose what I really want is the simplicity a lack of kisses seems to bestow.
I daydream about being kissed because, according to Grandma, it never actually happened.
Before that first kiss, that first slobbery, makeup-ruining, but heart-pounding kiss.
My friends never understood how I have so many guy friends, but never any boyfriends. Didn't understand I wanted to abstain from inevitable heartbreak, not understanding that the guys and I had an agreement that I'd play with them and they would not play me.
I was complex in a more feasible way. The kind of complex that my parents could handle, the type of intricacy that wouldn't make my grandma cringe.
And it makes me wonder.
If I'm innocent until proven guilty, when was I convicted?
And I know you don't have it perfect.
And that to you, my late nights in back seats and bruised neck may seem oh so exciting, and it is. And I can't lie that I don't love being kissed, and that I can't lie that it gets better and that he gets better.
Last Thursday, I thought I was pretty in my room with the lights totally off and outside in the sun. And last night, the boy I've been in love with for 7 years said that I am beautiful and that he loves me too. I don't really think I care about the checks at this point.
And everyone knows that teenage sex is mediocre. Teenage emotion is what transcends. Because I will never love another boy in my life as stupidly and as blindly as I do now. Amidst all my vulgar experience, I truly know nothing.
My hands were shaking, just like how my voice was shaking, and my knees were shaking. When I told him not to stick his tongue down my throat or touch me there, he said it was okay. Check.
I want to be someone who gets to love without being bound
in a breakable contract.
And you can keep those pieces. I gave them to you for keepsies. I don't want them back.
I don't want to be your brand of innocent.
All right, Marian High School kicking things off with a 3-watt piece. And we will see how the scores come back on that really interesting topic. I think also the first time that a Savage Garden reference has ever made it into the Louder Than a Bomb Poetry Battle.
All right, y'all, 2 housekeeping things. Judges, from here on out, I'm going to count down from 3. When I count down, I need your number. Also, audience, I forgot to mention this before, and you heard Andrew tell you that from the back. The audience, the poets are working hard for you, at the very least, and they deserve so much more. Make sure you're welcoming them onto this space.
All right.
Do not stop clapping until they are here and set up. They are going to speak wonders for you. The least you can do is make sure they're warm and welcome when they get here, all right?
All right.
All right, now, judges. 3, 2, 1. Put them up. All right, from low to high, we have a 7.6, an 8.0, an 8.2, an 8.3, and an 8.5.
All right, so Marian will score a 24.5 with their first poem, which is a group poem, so they will be solo only in rounds 2, 3, and 4. The next poet is from Bellevue East.
I'm looking at the world through the glass, a broken, absurd place that's a war of the past, burning everything that deserves my wrath, a red-colored horseman gassed me in a match, flashing out with rap, now a trauma to that, subtracting my mom, being whacked is the aftermath, attached to the fault, attachment to fault, my life has been cost, causing earthquakes across relationships to create gaps, but everything I catch is fishy if the falls flat, just staying grounded, taking a short fast nap, like a map of earth, a malice on his back, unable to relax from the task of holding this trap. Snap, hear me, life, I'm on the attack. You feel the flak, don't care if the odds are stacked. I hop over these pancakes to get back to all the even like 1 + 1 in math, and stop the divide signs to rip you in half. They use a Jenga, ace at the bath, the rematch, laugh, or the smash, and math, and people gotta grab. You slash your folks, scream, that burn ash. Like keep me in earnest, even in my triumph stash. I'm looking at the world through my glass, as I ask myself, if this is the life I should have, hidden in a serial killer's abandoned shack, until I crack and take 9 lives like a suicidal cat. I help who's always angry, who can't be glad. Colorblind, so I black out to white after I clash. In NASCAR, driving into 8 ads to start a crash. I'm looking at my world through the glass as I drop the snow globe on the ground and break the rosebud stud apart. I'm like Citizen Kane. I'm done living in my childhood. I'm done carrying these burdens like it's a cross I get crucified on. The only thing that will nail me is forgiveness, and not for my father, but for myself. Cain, forgive me for what I did, for we know not what I do. And suddenly, I'm out of the darkness and under the blue am. It's insane to walk outside. It's been a while. Like a child who smiles after adoption papers are filed. I've orphaned myself too long from all my trials, defiled like I'm a Bible drying on fire. I'm lighter now, though, yeah, in denial of losing like Arachne versus Athena in textiles. My thread is spread thin but powerful. The 3 fates can't cut me off. A wet back like a wet towel. Just showered off my scowl. Time will get shadowed. Life just struck noon on the Egyptian sundial.
Sorry about that sound gaffe, everybody. I pulled it down and
1, numbers, please.
forgot to bring it back up, but that won't happen again. That was our poet, our first poet from Bellevue East, and we'll see how that score comes out.
We have a 7.0, a 7.5, a 7.9, an 8.0, and an 8.2. But how did you feel about the poem? Yeah, we did. And keep that applause going. So welcome to the stage, our first reader from Burke High School.
Yeah, that'll be a 22.4 from Bellevue East. And here comes the first performer of the night from Burke High.
Hello, I'm Bianca Swift, and I'm from Burke High School. This poem is called Ode to the Green Cable Boxes. 2014,
Technology is at its finest, rewiring our minds using thin cable lines to this glorious future. The future where electronic sparks are our fireworks and green cable boxes are legacy. The future where the only limits discoveries have are on the parental control bar of the TV, where fruit can be the leading mogul in technological discovery. The future is now. With each of these successes came the boxes, popping up like weeds in the ever-growing garden of knowledge. When the TV came, so did the boxes. The computer, more boxes. MP3s, boxes. Cell phones, boxes. The green cable boxes have become prison cells. The wires that cross the sky look less like salvation and more like advanced cages. The apocalypse arrived, not with zombies or aliens, but with seclusion, isolation. 2016, it happened. Amidst the druggies and the junkies, alongside the businesswomen and men, beside the coffee shop and the tea parlor, next to you and me. It stayed in the green cable boxes, content to fester in its nest of wires. It came from below, a mixture of toxins so potent speaking their name burns your tongue. The apocalypse, a silent menace. It didn't strike with disease or famine. It struck in the form of the green cable boxes, because inside these boxes were wires, and in the wires, electricity, and the electricity, the falsehood of connection. These boxes were in every neighborhood, on every street, near every house, and yet went unnoticed. And it was there that this crawled, unwavering, technology. Like the Tower of Babel, it consumed seclusion, a world of knowing people without ever talking to them. It gorged on our lifestyle of using the disconnect as our only connection. You see, all of this technology was not the start of the apocalypse. It was the end of one. 2017. We'd been hidden away by technology for so long that our neighbors had become foreigners. Our homes were our islands, and we were so content within our own confines that crossing the ocean of our driveway to get to our buoy of a mailbox was enough. let alone had we been willing to wade into uncharted territory to greet a neighbor. We had turned a blind eye to our own demise, but that eye was opened by the death of the green cable boxes, which had become our trees, and without our oxygen, our sense of reality was put on a chokehold. And we began to wake up without our alarm clocks to remind us to smell the roses. Present day. This poem is only science fiction, at least right now. However, fiction is only false until proven fact. But I'm not waiting for the green cable boxes to die. I'm just waiting for our GPSs to break so we can realize we've already arrived at our destination.
All right. That was the first poet of the night from Omaha Burke High School. And we'll see how those scores come back.
All right now, judges. 3, 2, 1. Put them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. From low to high, we have a 7.2, an 8.0, an 8.3, an 8.5, and an 8.8. Give it up for your poet. And keep that applause going for Northwest.
All right, so that was close. They will take a 24.8 out of round one. And our final poet of round one comes from Omaha Northwest.
My name is Kayla Alberts. I'm a senior at Northwest High School. This poem is about my birth mom, but it's dedicated to that wonderful woman over there. It's entitled Mother. I'm 5. It's my first time in an airport, staring in as I watched the metal bird soar above me. We boarded the plane. Airplanes are supposed to bring you forward, but the one you put me on has kept me in the past for far too long. Every other mammal will kill at either the slightest notion of harm towards the young, but not you. You let him steal my life. Why? Who was this man? Scruffy beard that scratched me as he bent down. He was not my father, not my teacher, and most definitely not my guardian. No, he was your boyfriend. A man you cheated on my father with, and you thought it all good and well to let him take me to the airplane bathroom. You traded my innocence for his love, and in the end, you lost them both. You let him stalk your cub and poach me for my precious fur. So easy to leave us behind, wasn't it? But no, you couldn't stop there. You had to bring him. He had to steal my light.
But I will not give you the satisfaction of me becoming nothing. I will not let me suffer, and I'm sure will not let him win. I will stand, trudge on the snow and ice, the waters and gunk as leeches try to suck my life from me just to finally defy you. When I win my Emmy, my Nobel Peace Prize, and my Oscar, I want you in the front row to see all you've missed out on. And you can tell your friends all you want that you love me and care for me, but truth be told, you haven't talked to me since I was 7. But I will not fall. I may be a melted candle with only centimeter wick left, but that wick will last me until I find a new light. I have trudged through the desolate forest for too long. The trees that you planted have ripped my clothes for the last time. Though you think you snuffed out my light, my heart endures. A spark endures, my heart endures, and that light will multiply. Though you think you've stolen my light, I will set this forest ablaze, burning all the lies and pain you've caused. The trapped souls finally free. For I am a warrior. The heat and ash becoming body pain, showing my victory. As the fire roars behind me, I feel no pain. My armor covers my skin that you've tainted, and let's be tainted. For that does not define me. I am free, mother.
That was Omaha Northwest.
That was our poet from Omaha Northwest. Judges, give that a number in 3, 2, 1. From low to high, we have an 8.1, an 8.7, an 8.7, an 8.7, and a 9.5. But how did you feel about the poem? Yeah, you did. Okay, that is the end of our first round. You guys are doing a really good job. In the second round, we're going to hear from Bellevue East, followed by Burke, followed by Northwest, followed by Marian. So let us start clapping, and then keep clapping. Start clapping, and then keep clapping as we welcome up to the stage our reader from Bellevue East High School.
So the first poem to outscore a sacrifice poet who had a 26. So we're seeing how that strong sacrifice poet is affected things. A little bit, maybe not at all. What do I know? So our first poet of round 2 comes from Bellevue East.
Hi, I'm Liz Butts, and I'm from Bellevue East.
And you're awesome!
Walking through those doors had to be the hardest thing I've ever had to do. The aroma of, well, of nothing. A lifeless room with a lifeless body, a tongue that never got to strike, lungs that never got to scream, and sweet laughter that a mother's ears never got to hear. Her body like a piece of concrete. And the blanket I wrap her in, it was mine. And now this is the first and last thing she ever wears. A soft blue color, like her daddy's eyes. Holding her in my arms, not wanting to let go, to hold on forever, like dear life, gripping onto the bar like it's the last thing I ever do. The cold and hard and dead bar. One step at a time, Liz. Come on. You can do it. Bring her out there. Show everyone that you're okay. Show them that you're okay with this, that everything is okay. But I can't. I simply cannot bring myself to bring her out there because the thoughts of those lungs never inflating, those taste buds never tasting, those eyes never seeing, and a sweet smile appearing from ear to ear on those lips, those thoughts kill me. Trust me, walking through those doors had to be the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I hope to God that you never have to go through that, carrying your child's lifeless body in your arms. Taking one last look down into that beautiful, perfect, sinless face of theirs. Carry them close, holding them one last time. Angela May. Angela May was her name. My own flesh and blood, or what's left of it anyway. Looking at the clock, I see it's been like forever, and I walk through those doors, and a man awaits. A man who I seem to have recognized, but I can't particularly put my finger on it. And he gestures towards her, and I hold her out instinctively, you know, like a mother should. And he takes her, and I look away for a moment to compose myself, and when I look back, they're gone. I'll never forget that face. I'll never forget carrying her around for those 5 months. Trust me, walking through those doors had to be the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Bellevue East follows up the powerful piece from Northwest with a powerful personal piece of their own. Really remarkable stuff tonight. Still just
All
one
right,
Savage
now,
Garden
judges.
reference.
3, 2, 1. Let me
Here are the
have them.
scores.
From low to high, we have an 8.0, an 8.0, an 8.5, an 8.7, and an 8.7. Give it up for your poet. And keep that going for the next team up, Burke.
All right, so that gives Bellevue East a 25.2 for a total of 47.6. Again, all unofficial scores without time penalties, content penalties, all that sort of jazz.
Hi, I'm Lanesia Valentine from Burke High School. My poem is called A Letter to Sarah Bartman, a letter between Sarah Bartman and the girls. Melody is the music that demand you to dance with a sexual and seductive image coats the air with glitter, and you inhale. A drug of lust brainwashes you, transforming you women into Hottentot Venuses, trained to think about the importance of physical beauty. I see the video vixens and women twerking, trying to live on in a Hottentot Venus freak show image forced upon me. An image morphed into a generational chain wrapped around the minds of a history they have no knowledge on. And because they do not know, the thought of breaking free is non-existent. You do not know of the Europeans that came to Africa, slaughtered my people, and took me from my home. I was a slave at the age of 19 to a man named Peter, lived in England and became the first Hottentot Venus, a freak. I had to perform shows naked to entertain, like a wild animal barely tamed with promises of fame. The crowd was intrigued with the sight of my frame. Wide hips, large lips, breast, and behind. They poked, pinched, and groped me, laughed, amazed, and excitedly. When I had enough, Peter would beat me because I started to act too difficult. My only job was to twerk. I had been manipulated into thinking I was free and making a living. Lies were told to me so much that I became numb to them, because I was then sold to a bear trainer when I moved to France. You do not know that when I moved to France, scientists wanted to examine me like I was some other form of human. When scientists reached for the only area I declared to stay covered, I denied further examinations. On with the show, I continued my performances in hopes of one day making it back home to get married, have money, and have children, because my infant son died before this all happened. You do not know I never saw my homeland again, because one day during a performance, the bear trainer made me lay down and let the crowd touch my private area, the only area I declared to stay covered. They violated me. As I began to weep, the bear trainer said, "You are embarrassing me." The crowd was no longer amazed excitedly. The show was done for good. You do not know I had to become a prostitute. Within 5 years of leaving my homeland, I died with syphilis. The bear trainer sold my body, bones, brain, and female organs kept, and my skin was thrown out like some old rag. In the name of science, 1815, humanity was exempt. And you may not know, I did not get a proper burial until 2002. Sarah, when I became aware, I grew determined to share your story because I had an epiphany, like you were fighting to climb out of your coffin just for us to know your name and be curious enough to want to know of your existence. The memory of you has authority, and Stern is given no other choice but to remember you. To all girls, I tell you now, do not be a freak show that twerks it willingly and hopes for any form of fame from the public that see. Do not be an amateur nor professional in a music video. We have the history for it not to repeat itself, but little know about the life of Sarah Bartman, so it goes on. Spread your knowledge and break free of these chains. Do not be another Hottentot Venus. And everyone, remember Sarah Bartman, the Hottentot Venus, as Sarta G, the human being.
Very unique piece from Burke just now. See how the judges respond to that.
3, 2, 1.
Really powerful writing.
Oh my gosh, you're so fast. Numbers,
powerful
please.
young women tonight. So exciting to see. See what their scores are like.
From low to high, we have a 7.9, an 8.0, 8.1, 8.3, and an 8.7. But how did you feel about the poem? And then please keep that applause going as we welcome to the stage our reader from Northwest High School.
Sorry. 49.2.
This one? Oh, that one. Hi, I'm Deanna. I'm a senior at Omaha Northwest High School. And this piece is called Invisible. A green screen can change your setting into any place you want. It can also make you transparent. Literally. And you'd think after 3 years of broadcasting, I'd know better than to wear teal in front of a green screen. Teal, for anyone who cares, is, by the way, a shade of green. So I appeared live in front of the entire school as Floating Head Deanna. My teacher handed me a vest and whispered, "You're invisible." Invisible, a word I learned to hate. It's like being in middle school again, where I first heard the words, "You're uglier than the gum under my shoe. A waste of space on this infinite planet." We're not grown up well because
It wasn't really that bad. They're just kids.
They don't mean the words that they say.
But what does that do to a 12-year-old? It kills the spirit that could have led me to lead every cheer, kick every winning goal, turn my emotions into something motivational. But instead, I learned to shut out the world, outrun the fear, and hope that it wouldn't catch me. In 7th grade, I sang solo in school play. Suddenly, I was visible again. But the more I was seen, the more I could feel the daggers plunged into the wounds crafted by the children who were never punished. Those red droplets dripping down my see-through form, and even though I put that whole school to awe, I am still the outcast, still running, still invisible. I made it to high school with no scars that any of you could see, but I vowed never to be just another face in the yearbook, never to be invisible again. And those wounds may have not healed, but they did stop bleeding. Until now, when I can feel the robe of red bleeding down the screen, and even though I swear I'm no longer scared, I am still running. But I will not break my vow. I will not be invisible, because I am not cloaked in shame, but in honor. Because I can stand on my own 2 feet. I can see them both. I can see all of me. And I can say this to you. If you feel like you won't ever be seen, look around at the people who've seen you for far longer
Than you know.
All right, that is Omaha Northwest with an ambush group piece. Surprise! Poets rising from the dark deep.
All right, students, you've been doing a good job. Let's keep it moving. 3,
Here are
2,
the scores.
1. Put them up for me. All right, from low to high, I have an 8.0, an 8.2, an 8.5, an 8.7, and an 8.7. Give it up for your poets and keep it going for Marian.
Omaha Northwest is 25.2.
I'm Samantha Gardner, and
Sorry, 25.4.
I'm from Marian. My poem is called Quiet Hands. The confusing world in which I live is ear-piercingly quiet and paper-thin. My eyes are open and I see, yet my mind remains blind, leaving me unable to understand when I need more than sight. As I place my hands upon new things that seem false and dreamlike, they gain solidity and depth. In my constantly shifting, fluid-like reality, my hands map out my world, showing me more than my eyes ever could. The perplexing world in which my reality resides is paper-thin and ear-piercingly quiet. My voice is clear and I speak, yet reserve and gracelessness cage my song, leaving me speechless when I need more than words. My hands flail, tap, flap, and shake. screaming, I am here, see rather than hear what I have to say. In my perpetually muted, mime-like world, my hands magnify my cries, speaking louder than my eyes ever could. When I was young, I dragged my hands along store shelves. Everything was new, and I needed to feel what my eyes couldn't see. When I was young, I'd brush my hands across brick walls. This place was new, and I needed to guide my way even if I wasn't blind. When I was young, my hands would flail. I was here, and I needed to be seen. When I was young, my hands would flap. I was excited, and I needed it to be known. When I was young, my fingers would tap. I was at my wit's end and needed to be pulled back from the edge. When I was young, my hands would shake. I was over the edge and falling. The meltdown had begun, and it was time for damage control. People gave me strange looks. They never understood the loudness of my hands, the different language the pair seemed to speak, so unlike their own. But people rarely do. In kindergarten, they took my hands in theirs to stop the movement, leaving me both bound and gagged. Teachers screeched, "Quiet hands!" My classmates' hands would fly to their lap. If I did not comply, I would be told to sit on mine, both stifling my voice and blinding my mind. Once I got up, my fingers were numb and so stiff that they stuck together like crazy glue. They never knew when meltdowns were coming. There was no damage control. My voice was stolen, and I made mute. As I grew older, quiet hands started to mean keeping my hands to myself. Don't touch, won't buy. I was reprimanded for adding new things to my reality. It's a little weird that you're always touching the wall. Guiding myself became forbidden. What I thought were my greatest allies were now treated as my biggest weaknesses. My eyes were stolen and I made blind. I am now, and in the future, I will be then. When no one is looking, my hands find their ways to aisle shelves, and when I wander along hallways, my hands once again map my reality. Quiet hands never stuck. Ah, who wants them? Ah, who needs them? When my hands flail, flap, tap, and shake. People now endure the jingle jangling of my steel turtle ring. My hands will be as loud as I want them to be.
All right, that was a poem from Marian High School to close out round 2. They're in striking distance of Northwest. Let's see how the scores come back.
Let's go from Marian High School. Judges, 3, 2, 1. Numbers, please. Great. Okay. From low to high, 7.9, 8.0, 8.2, 8.2, and an 8.7. But how do we feel about the ball? Great. And then let us please, at the end of the second round, so third round, we're going to hear from Burke, then Northwest, then Marian, then Bellevue East. Let us clap, and then clap, and then continue clapping, and then continue clapping as we welcome up to the stage our reader from Burke.
Marian, Burke, 48-9, and Bellevue East, 4 to 47-6. I really think that somebody scored that. So here comes round 3 with Omaha Burke.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name's Fern. And I wrote a poem called Thank God for Musicals. Thank God it was the night of the auditions. The songbird opened up, let her hidden whistle notes flow. But because her drumbeat heart was all shook up, she turned her ear from Greece to Mama's complaints. Once upon a time when the hills were alive with the sound of music, her choir partner told her the best departments accepted the inexperienced. How could the songbird ever agree? Said the headmaster with the scorn of the Wizard of Oz. Happiness is the key to success. The pitch-perfect 60 symphony on a tour across the universe. She'd always dreamed of taking flight with wings built on A-flat, B-flat, and musical glee. But what she came for was the long, one-way road of academics paved by a mother with a frozen heart. Never did she master the concept of taking orders from Cinderella's stone-cold stepmother herself. Still, she told herself that this was meant to be. Her delicate, fine-tuned voice was roadblocked up ahead, and so under the staring eyes of the cast of the High School Musical, she was forced to admit she had never sung on stage before, because she was meant to be a lawyer. When Mama and Daddy switched off her stereo heart, she sang that the sun will come out tomorrow, that she would no longer remember carrying the sweet serenade under her skin, and now she stands, wingless, prickled by jeans and hairspray, the needle praises of A-plus parents. Impossible, she thought, that yesterday she was sending hearts rising and plummeting roller coaster on her soprano. She was a songbird with a humble West Side Story background, but that didn't mean she didn't know that. They all said she couldn't sing. They all said she couldn't sing, but that didn't mean she didn't know that she was a songbird with a humble West Side Story background. Sending hearts rising and plummeting, roller coaster on her soprano? Impossible, she thought, that yesterday she was wingless, prickled by jeans and hairspray, the needle praises of A-plus parents. And now she stands, carrying the sweet serenade under her skin. She sang that the sun will come out tomorrow, that she would no longer remember when Mama and Daddy switched off her stereo heart because she was meant to be a lawyer. She had never sung on stage before. And so, under the staring eyes of the cast of the High School Musical, she was forced to admit her delicate, fine-tuned voice was roadblocked up ahead. Still, she told herself that this was meant to be. Taking orders from Cinderella's stone-cold stepmother herself, never did she master the concept of the long one-way road of academics paved by a mother with a frozen heart. But what she came for was taking flight with wings built on A-flat, B-flat, and musical glee. She'd always dreamed of the pitch-perfect 60s symphony on a tour across the universe. Success is the key to happiness, said the headmaster with the scorn of the Wizard of Oz. How could the songbird ever agree? Her choir partner told her the best departments accepted the inexperienced. Once upon a time, when the hills were alive with the sound of music, she turned her ear from Greece to Mama's complaints. But because her drumbeat heart was all shook up, the songbird opened up, let her hidden whistle notes flow. Thank God it was the night of the auditions.
All right. That is a poet from Burke to open round 3. Burke are currently sitting in second place, 2.3 points behind Omaha Northwest, at least before any time penalties and such.
All right, judges.
So let's see how
3,
the judges react to this.
2, 1. Put them up for me. From low to high, we have an 8.3, an 8.5, an 8.5, an 8.8, and an 8.9. Give it up for your poet. And keep it going for the next poet in this round from Northwest.
Northwest are current leaders. Are up next. Can I move this?
I'm Solomon Washington, a junior from Northwest High School. And when I wrote this, I was an extreme perfectionist. My brain was the Joe Jackson to the Michael Jackson of my pencil. Suspenseful and uneasy, locked up in my skull's jail, a blood-stained brain cell in which the inmates of the past took their lives into their own hands. Memories gone, but remain still haunt me. Life is a journey to find happiness, and it's hard as a concrete which my tan slave loves are accustomed to. Sometimes I know not what to do. Where do I find this peace of mind? Perhaps in a soul like my own. Unguided and confused, the two missing pieces break from their leashes and come together. But my attempts have been plentiful yet fruitless. This world is ruthless and cold-hearted. In school they told me Earth's core was made up of magma and lava, but now I'm convinced that it consists of glaciers and ice. I try to find that spaceship, but I'm just a passenger on the train of thought. And these tracks are the only thing that keep me sane, but at the same time drive me crazy when the spotlight is on me. But all it comes out as is, I defy gravity and never follow rules. Rock my competition and break them down into molecules. The atom splitting, rapid magician, back to finish. Subtracting spitters with mathematics and algorithms. According to my calculations, I could probably say the bass is taking me to a new dimension of rap oasis. I'm dropping jaws and attracting faces. My claws are retractable. I was mutated, I'm mad beyond imagination. But when I wrote this, This is the way the mindset of the perfectionist functions. But I jump to light speed through the meteor shower of doubt and conjunctions and do what bails me out of that brain cell. The thing that is the true missing piece of my life. This pen and pad, the thing that helps me analyze why Earth's core is frozen. The thing that helps me build this wall when I fall to the dirt. I'll go beyond Earth's atmosphere with these tall tale boasts. If I can make myself feel like this, then I've already accomplished the mission. But all you'll ever hear is, no one can match what I've accomplished. I grab the mic and make my competition microscopic. Sit back and take it in. Crazy when I raise a pen. Infinite lives, endless continues when I play to win. My lyrics are cryogenic hieroglyphics. The biochemical menace with this pen, I'm highly gifted. I want every eye to witness the verbal violinist. If the sky's the limit, if the sky's the limit, if the sky's the limit, my atmosphere is infinite.
All right, that was Omaha Northwest, our current leaders. It's some intriguing stagecraft. Chris August replacing our live stream rib microphone. Thanks, Chris.
All right, those are called from Northwest High School judges. 3, 2, 1. Numbers, please. All right, from low to high, we have an 8.7, a 9.0, a 9.2, a 9.2, and a 9.3. How did you feel about the poll? Keep that applause going. We welcome to the stage our next leader from Marian High School.
Omaha Northwest next up with Marian.
Hello, my name is Charlotte. I go to Marian High School, and I'm a junior. And this poem is called Notes on Loving the Boyfriend Who Isn't Here Because He Forgot About Today's Bout. When you say, Charlotte, I think I'm in love, I say, with what? And you say you, and I say, good, me too, even though I know it's not true. You are in love with the leaves that are floating down too fast for you to catch, and the river that's flowing by too quickly for you to jump in. But somehow, you're drowning, and maybe that's why you laugh at all my jokes, and maybe that's why you like my dark side, and maybe that's why you think you love me at all. And I can smell your whiskey breath through the phone, and I know you're trying, but I'm indifferent, because you only ever say nice things to me when Jack Daniels is speaking for you. And his hand is shoved in your back, pushing and pulling all the right levers. You are a puppet, controlled by what you think you can control. And my addictions look like hobbies next to yours. My blades and broken skin are literal, but you have been figuratively shred apart since that first drink. And your mother is crying, and your little brother is trying to be just like you, and I'm waiting for a bit of language to describe how I feel, because I think I love you, but I definitely know that I hate this. I definitely know that I hate this. Why do I so love the broken things? The answer is because the broken things never loved me. So now every mirrored image of my maker gets every bit of me. And by every bit, I mean I will worry, and I will worry, and I will worry, and I will worry about you until long after this high school sweetheart has turned bitter. And you have an open door to my household, to my mom that screams so much, and my dad that cries a lot. And I'm letting myself believe that you are a shelf I can place my thoughts on. A crooked shelf, perhaps a splintered shelf. You get stuck in my skin every time I touch you, but I love how it stings. Like your throat when it hits the bottle, and then it spreads this warmth throughout my body, and I feel like I found home. And you can be the house, and I'll be the utilities. I'll keep you running from what hurts us. Please become addicted to me, and you'll never go through withdrawals. Just don't become dependent, because I need my space like you need a place to fall, and there's no 12-step for love. No right or wrong way to do it, yet no room for error. I know, I think too much. I know it's all so much more simple for you, but I just get so sad, so much. And I know you think you love me, but I think that you need to love you first and know that it's okay to hate me, and it's okay to hate her, and it's okay to hate him, and it's okay to hate this too.
All right. That is a poet from Marian High School. Getting through a tough spot in their poem.
All right,
Another
judges.
strong
I
personal
got
story.
3, 2,
Let's get the source.
1. Put them up for me. All right, from low to high, we have an 8.7, an 8.9, a 9.0, a 9.0, and a 9.5. Keep that applause going for the poet from Bellevue East.
So that gives Marian a 26.9, which adds for 47.6. 4 is 74.9. Unofficial score.
Hi, I'm Jesse Whitson from Bellevue East. And this is a little something I came up with. I love walking. It's my time. I put in my earbuds and drown out the world in music. Symphonies of therapists playing my troubles away as I stroll down the alleys and paths, alone with my thoughts. I love walking. But there's one journey I just can't seem to take. A short stroll from my desk to yours. A single step would send me on my way, and step after happy step, getting closer and closer to going farther and farther with you. I'm willing to go the extra mile, from point A to point where I want to be. A single step would send me on my way along those 6 feet between me and you. Great obstacles block my path, all of them silly little thoughts I built up against me. I love walking. Except when it's windy and the air is shrill. The journey to your side goes straight through a hurricane, an unstoppable force of unseen things, pushing me back as I try so hard to move forward. A single step would send me along those 6 feet to say those 5-letter words. I want to get some dinner? And each moment together is a perfect little point in space, like stars in the universe, each floating independent from one another. So like constellations, I connect the dots and make scribbles and zigzags of false connections and misinterpreted moments. Each one to you is just another time someone did something too far with you, like a child with a coloring book. 50 pages of coloring the lines, matching up some pictures, and following the numbers to the points on the page to make a neat little bunny. Not really what I'm looking for, but I still love the idea that each little point, each moment connected to make something so beautiful, but I don't want just a little fluffy bunny. So like they did with that rabbit, I mix up our dots and make something out of nothing. I turn our random encounters into a pretty heart. A little cliche, but I like cliche. I show you my idea and I watch your face change with our friendship. And you say, connect the dots. You're nice and all, you're a great guy and all, but I'm sorry. But it's not you who's sorry for me, it's me who's sorry for us.
That is Bellevue East closing up round 3. They sit currently in 4th place with a 47.6, but the way scores have been climbing, we'll see how the judges feel about it.
2, 1. Scores, please. From low to high, we have an 8.7, 8.8, a remarkably apathetic audience, a 9.2, a 9.5, and a 9.6. How did you feel about the poem? Let's keep that applause going. We welcome to the stage our first reader in the 4th round from Northwest High School.
Strong 27.5. 25-1, putting them in second place.
My name's Brittany MacArthur. I'm a senior at Northwest High School. And this poem is titled Her Face. I see her face in every prepubescent girl on their way to getting their first period, convinced that the blood flowing from their body is a sign from God saying, your time is up. I see her face in the pregnant 14-year-old, convinced by her 18-year-old boyfriend that sex was the only love she would receive from anyone. I see her face in the clinics. Women afraid to discover the STDs invading their bodies or about to let go of the very life they've created because they've been told it's the only way. I see her face in every young girl, lady, or woman uneducated about sex because of someone else's perception. Yes. Have you seen her face? Contorted in confusion, not knowing what is right because your parents say, stay pure to wait. Pounding the gavel of abstinence, not explaining why or answering the questions. Then media comes in. MTV saying, sex is amazing, be dangerous and dirty, society is stupid, use a condom. What? Society and media, the condemnation of her common sense. Now, what should she do? The real question is, what should we do? When we see her in that young girl's face, we need to teach her that she's just blossoming into the beautiful woman she was meant to be. When we see that pregnant 14-year-old, we need to teach her what real love is, that it's not sex, but an unconditional, incomprehensible emotion that will wrap you up like the love she's about to experience for her child. When we see her painted upon the faces of the women in the clinics, we need to let them know it's okay, regardless the outcome. Why aren't we teaching our young girls, our ladies, our women, instead of having them trapped in a diluted world of I don't knows and I'll learn from the television? Because I want to learn how to help her, how to teach her, how to mold her. So when I look in the mirror and see her face, I'll know that she's just a piece of me.
Opening up round 4 with
right.
a strong
Well,
solo.
the poem from Northwest High School.
Yeah,
Judges.
big reaction.
There's an arm. I'd like to see some scores,
And from
please.
Chris August's feet. Let's see how it comes back.
All right. From low to high, we have a 9.0, a 9.0, a 9.6, a 9.7, and a 9.7. But how did you feel about the ball? Great. And let us welcome to the stage our next leader from Marian High School.
Northwest, 107.2 total.
I don't. Hi, my name is Gwendolyn. I am a freshman at Marian High School, and the poem I'm reading is The Fall of the Brightest Star. He sews my eyes shut, pulling me into a universe no better than our own, and taking the strength to wake up. Sleep has never been a want, only a need. Lucifer has claimed my soul since the day I turned 13, making me relive his story. Mutes wail at the sight of a falling angel. Down and down and down he goes, flying through this world. People haven't convinced me. It's just my imagination. I watch as his white wings fade to black, almost metallic, attached to his back because of his disobedience. He refused orders. He broke the mold. Baptismal hymns turn to funeral dirges as his scale is tipped in the wrong direction. The metal bends and the hinges snap. Malice coating every broken bolt, broken promises flooding the cracks. Letters to loved ones drowned in spilled ink, goodbyes left unsaid, questions left unanswered, dears and sincerelys left to the imagination. God's right hand gone, the brightest, I watched the fall of the brightest star right in front of my eyes, coming to claim a throne to which I am bound by unrealistic responsibilities. He grasps at tendrils of unraveling clouds, looking for the silver lining, only to find good intentions tainted by greed. My ears bleed from the sound of the damned. I just try to do the right thing. Results are the only thing that matter. It was dark. Only evil hides in the dark. I was scared you were weak. I was young. You're still young. I'm still young. His kingdom was finished with me by his side, home to the ones who rebelled, the ones who were like him, like me, damned from heaven. And that was punishment enough. Why am I being persecuted? My life isn't over. It's barely begun. Why am I being punished for things I haven't done? Do I have to become the one who rules over this frozen desert? Why am I no longer allowed upstairs? I've learned not to run. I've stopped hiding from my coronation. I am his prodigy. I have stopped denying my throne. I bow my head to accept my crown when suddenly the sun melts the threads. The door to my mental prison opens. I never wanted to be queen. I didn't ask for this. I would never want to rule the icy pit the devil calls his home. Satan lets me leave hell knowing I will come back. He knows I have to come back because maybe this is my better reality, better than this perfect world in which I live. I leave hell knowing soon it is where I will belong, knowing soon it is where I will reign, but only when I need sleep again.
So that is Omaha Marian High School. A powerful solo poet to close off round 4. And then we'll see if Bellevue East and Burke use their additional group pieces to try and close the gap. But we've got an Earth, Wind, and Fire break, so let's just all enjoy it.
All right, that felt good. Now, judges, 3, 2, 1, put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.0. We have an 8.3.
Come on.
We have an 8.4, an 8.9, and a 9.2. You give it up for your poet. And keep it going for Bellevue East.
Good. Okay. So shout out to everyone that's read and is reading because this is brilliant. So here we go.
Bellevue East is up now.
Oh, by the way, I'm Luke Bandigosa from Bellevue East. It's 11:11. This is usually when I'm huddled into the covers, marathoning through whatever new show has me hooked, or rewatching episodes of How I Met Your Mother, the ones I surprisingly can't recite by heart and memory. It's 11:11, and it's a cliche. It's 11:11, and you ask me what I wish for. Usually, I'm badgering you to tell me what you've requested upon the specific matching 4 digits of time, but of course, my repetitive badgering is only a joke. But I'm not going to lie and act as if I'm not curious. You told me once before we locked lips for the first time, once before that walk in the cold that can kill somebody with its blistery grip, once before you realized that our timing wasn't right. The one that you did let me know of, you said you wished to be happy, and for me not to mess that up. And it's been a while. I'm starting to keep my wishes from you, but the one that you did let me know of, I do wish for that to follow through, and I hope to be a part of that process, and I hope you know you've been a part of mine. It's 11:11, and one by one, I still continue to waste these wishes on you, but learning to accept the fact has taken less time than I thought. But together, our time was shorter than anticipated. All good things must come to an end, and me, as heavily into the art of cliches as I am, I very much understand the facts, but my cliches, you appreciated more than anybody else I've known from past to present, and I couldn't be more grateful to have fallen head over heels in something that didn't feel superficial. The poems that I wrote for you, Even under the current circumstances, I don't believe that it was time wasted, cubed up and thrown away, never to be seen again. I believe those sessions of putting pen to paper to produce these poems, these words to flow smoother than Nasser's Illmatic, to flow smoother and cooler than my consciousness whenever you walk into my line of sight, yet words that were nervous and carefully handpicked for perfection. These poems, the time it took to write them, I wouldn't take back for the world. It's amazing to have finally met someone that inspires. It's 11:11. And I could exclaim, I wish for you. But instead, it's 11:12. And I simply say, thank you.
All right, strong closer from Bellevue East tonight for their round 4 poem. Their last individual poem of the night. Let's see how the judges react.
From low to high, we have an 8.2, 8.5, 8.9, 8.9, and a 9.2. Let's give a round of applause for poets. And then let's keep that applause going. This is welcome up to the stage our last reader in the first 4 rounds from Burke High School.
That's a 26-3 for Bellevue East in their final individual poem. That gives them a...
Hello, I am Anderson Smith from Burke High School. Also
101.4.
And this is called From Struggle to
Tying them
Sweets.
with Marian.
I'm going to chase my dream. Coming to Omaha like Prince Hakeem. I never cared till I was finally clean, but that adoption life gets a little mean. I'm rich off potential, fans gonna pile up. My swag hits a mill, no stylists can style us. Caught up in the lie, caught up in life. I see Bane on the corner with a quarter of that white. He just trying to chase his dream. Bless his daughter needs some wipes and some Pampers, so he say forget about a slammer. He just trying to stay alive, praying for an answer. World full of problems, ain't nobody got an answer. Mom's in the game, daddy getting high, bills still coming, and he barely getting fly. Every day he wake up, he just swear to do his job, chasing dreams. Time is ticking, so it seems. On his downtime, he's spitting. He nice. His flow is mean. He just want his real chance, no reality show. The crack house was his crib. The streets fathered him, though. He ain't got a Twitter page, but you can follow him. Oh, dream chaser. It all started from the basement. Me, my pen, and my pad. I started thinking about things I never had. Was broke as a joke, ain't never laughed, and now I'm for going to get it, and now they mad. How could you hate me where I came from? Them boys you call your homies be the main ones. You'd be surprised what people do soon as some fame come. But I ain't worried, discouraged, I just deserve it. When my dreams started to crumble, many people deserted. When I empty circle when I first got noticed, but now I'm getting props and act like they deserve it. Sitting real still, watching my dream fade like Mike, fourth quarter tie game. I just want to become something like a king. They say I'm trying for nothing. I smile and say I'm nothing but a dream chaser. But what would you do for the price of fame to have people say your name?
All right, and that is the final individual poet from Burke High School. It ends round 4. And let's get final scores, and then we'll take a quick break before round 5.
All right, judges. 3, 2, 1. Put them up. From low to high, we have an 8.1, an 8.2, an 8.4, an 8.9, and a 9.0. Give it up for your poets. All right, that concludes our first 4 rounds. So y'all know what's up next, right? Group peace round. Before we do that, though, we need to make a couple of announcements. And coaches, you should meet with Andrew Eck and Ruth Coates over by the side for the coaches meeting before we start, while they determine order. All right,
My
now,
unofficial
since
score
it's going to be
says
us,
that it's,
just going to be us together while the
Northwest
coaches are going away.
107.2,
I got a couple announcements for y'all.
101.4 for
First and
Marian,
foremost, are y'all digging this
Bellevue
music?
East with 101.4.
All right, so this lovely
First place
gentleman
is
who's
Omaha
over here doing the music
That is
for us
the
is Frank
reverse of the
Crampton.
order
He's
that
been
we're
running an
going. So I guess
amazing
Burke first,
monthly set called
Marian
Little
or
Weeds,
Bellevue East,
and their
and
8th
then
anniversary is tomorrow night. So if you're of age, you should go out and check it out tomorrow at the House of Bloom on 10th and Pacific.
Quick
You'll
break.
enjoy it, trust me. Dance till you get sweaty. It's good for you. All right, other announcements. We have a screening of Louder Than a Bomb, the film that actually started this process here. It will be a free screening of it tomorrow night at Kaneko at 6:30 p.m., including one of the participants from the film and one of the film's directors. It will be a wonderful evening. All right, now, also, if you want to see these other events, you can always go to ltapomaha.com. ltapomaha.org, which gives you a complete list of all the events, all the bouts, and everything that is going on. And if you need other poetry events, there is always poetrymenu.com. 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 This is a place where you can go to find out all things poetry that are going on in the general area. It's not just Omaha. We also have things all over. So make sure you're checking that out. Matt Mason, do you have my order?
I will. And I've also got donor stuff.
Okay.
But hold on, let me just make sure it's right.
All right, they've all signed up for this already.
What's that?
Do I have to wait for them to sign up or we just go over?
Nope. We're good.
All right, so you're going to make your announcement, sir?
Sure. Yeah, and then we'll do the order.
All right.
Gotta get my... Thank you, Sadiq. Let's hear it for Zadika and Andrew Eck running a quick good show.
Let's hear it for Zadika and Andrew Eck, right, chat room?
Just a quick note on donations. We take money at the door, and we really appreciate it. If you got something to put in, it helps us do it. We took a lot of gambles this year to do it up especially well. Hopefully it's going to pay off. Help us out. We're a non-profit. Your donations can be tax deductible. There's sheets on a bunch of the chairs that can tell what way you can give online. You can give us cash, write us checks, throw gold bullion, whatever you got. We will take it, but we really appreciate all the help. We want to thank many of our donors: Sherwood Foundation, Kiewit Foundation, Nebraska Arts Council, Paul and Annette Smith, the Whites Family Foundation, and Katie Whites, Paulina and Bob Schlott, Humanities Nebraska, Jetton Fund. Those are our biggest donors, but also folks like Rex Walton and Mary Jane Colleran, who gave us just a little bit last night, and we really appreciate it. So every little bit helps. We love it. Also at Kaneko, we've got the movie tomorrow night. Which will be good, with Lamar Jordan from the movie and one of the directors of the movie, Greg Jacobs, are going to be on a panel. You can talk to them afterwards. And Sunday at Kaneko, just over 11th and Jackson, there's a poet named Chris August that some of you may have heard of. Chris August, DeBelle Chris, another poet that you hopefully heard of, as well as Michelle Trox-Claire, another great poet, all reading at Kaneko, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. All right.
Matt, I need the thing. I need that thing.
All right.
All right, y'all ready for the group piece round? Y'all sure? All right, buckle up. It's about to go down. Our order for round 5 is the following. First will be Marian. Second will be Burke. Third will be Bellevue East. And the final round will be Omaha Northwest. Any questions? Y'all ready? Then give all your love and light to the first participant in the group piece round, Marian.
Yeah, looks like Marian did suffer some time penalties to drop them out of their tie for third, their tie for second. So they are coming from behind. I did not know their official score.
It's not straight. Got it? I got it.
Oh, sorry, Bill.
Hi guys, as was just said, we are from Marian. My name is Araya.
I'm Charlotte. I'm Gwendolyn. I'm Samantha.
And this is our poem, Last Supper.
At my house, our dinner table is cluttered but still empty. We're the kind of family where we all take turns going into the kitchen so we can get our own food, and then we go back to where we were.
Constant chatterbox chit-chattering with tabletop delights set in front of us. Stories of work and wonder, project and play, constantly teetering on open lips.
When food was set in front of us and there were still stories to tell.
My father sits at the head of the table, glasses on the end of his nose, grayish red hair, buttons and slacks, slippers on his feet. My mother is on his right, tired from sewing costumes for a Broadway that she used to star in, and she is the kind of beautiful that age can't touch. She holds my father's hand better than
she holds a needle.
On Christmas, when one family was getting high, another was trafficking secrets, conspiring against each other. I watched, observed, isolated on a stiff wooden chair between
the men getting drunk and the women arguing, separately but equally, alone. It wasn't always like this because when that witch was there making us try to connect, taking pictures of us sometimes pretending to be happy, pretending to feel like a family.
It was good. This was good. Memories I love. Memories locked in place, never forgotten as if photographs taken and framed in my mind.
There's Aunt Sally, my mother's younger, dumber sister who laughs too loud and drinks too much, but in a cute way. Grandma and Grandpa, content to watch what they hate grow up.
The air smells like steel, stinging the tunnels into my lungs, filling them with the contagious virus of my family. Cyanide, chloroform, clean too clean. Welcome to Christmas. No matter what season it is always cold. Cold, like the casserole my grandma loves. Cold, like the air between the chairs at the table.
Cold. The truth is, I've never really felt like I had a family except for eating that French toast without cinnamon on it because we put tangy instant tea on it instead. It's when I sit in his car and we talk about how alone we are together. And it's when I ask him if this is what love feels like and he says, no, this hurts.
It was, if only life stayed this way, stock still, trapped in hallmark moments. Technology refused this request, and a television found its way into the dining room.
A wash of freckles is spread throughout the room, red and blonde hair, everyone in glasses because everyone reads too much. That communal laugh that everyone shares forms
a church choir when amused in unison.
I hate egg casserole. It makes me sick to look at, and the smell is metallic, like blood, like wounds from a cold war. My sister quietly runs from my step-grandpa, crying in the corner of my old closet.
I go to her,
but I'm claustrophobic.
After that, no one spoke, just the constant droning of the news, stupid dramas, and unfunny sitcoms no one cared about. As someone shouts,
I can't hear my show!
I don't know what Aunt Sally looks like. And God knows my mother never would have been a star even if she was sober. My father's hair is long, strangly, and all gray. My mother's hand was never his to hold. These people, my people, I don't know any of them because I'm really sitting at this table alone in this house that I grew up in that only ever
feels like home when it's empty.
They make me lead prayer because I attend a Catholic school. Sometimes I wish they knew I'd never believe in their God. Controlling, conceited, cold, off yellow.
Like them.
I never like what they watch because it kills my appetite, just like the people on screen kill others. I leave the kitchen and eat in my room with my own television on.
Memories fade into gray static.
Nice.
All right, that was your group piece from
Marian High School.
Judges, if you would please show me some numbers. Yeah, there you go. There you go. From low to high, we have an 8.2, 8.5, 8.5, 9.0, and a 9.0. Let's give a round of applause to the team, to the poets. And then let us welcome to the stage our next group piece from Burke High School.
Sorry, my parents. I'm sorry. My apologies.
You're good?
name's Ahmed Corolla, and I'm from Omaha Burke High School.
Hi, I'm Lanisha Valentine, and I'm from Omaha Burke High School also. Bianca Swift, and I'm from Omaha Burke High School.
Daniel McDonald, I'm from Omaha Burke High School. This is spectrum. The visible spectrum is the portion of the
electromagnetic spectrum that is visible to the human eye. Violet represents imagination and creativity.
Blue represents trust, peace, and loyalty.
Green represents balance and growth. Yellow represents the mind and optimism. The visible spectrum
is the portion of my spectrum that is visible to you and that you use to judge me.
I live in a big house represents that I have a perfect life.
I do not practice a religion represents that I have no morals.
I was born in Africa represents that I can't speak English.
I am black represents that I am illiterate.
You see my hair.
You see my eyes. You see my clothes.
You see my lifestyle.
You see so much, but you are blind to me.
I don't take sides represents that I'm not loyal.
I'm a black woman represents that I have a lot of attitude.
I am named Ahmed represents that I am a terrorist.
I am calm and quiet represents that I'm a pushover.
You see.
You see. You see.
You see.
You only see.
You only see these colors
visible to your perspective.
But who are you to judge when you haven't even managed to touch skin deep?
Instead, you hover on the outside.
Gravitating around me.
Using the false truth about me as your facts.
There is 99% of the visible spectrum that we cannot see.
X-rays and ultraviolet.
Infrared, microwave. And just as we cannot see these colors,
you cannot see all of the colors in me.
We each have our own spectrum of colors. You don't see that I have more stuffed animals on my bed than my mom has nervous habits. You don't see that I have my own inside jokes like booty in the parking lot.
You don't see that I didn't grow up in a two-parent household.
You don't see that I speak 3 languages.
You don't see that I'm a victim of suicide.
You don't see that I want to find cures for Alzheimer's and dementia because I never wanted my granddaddy and my grandma to forget me.
You don't see that my Somalian grandfather died from lack of health care and that I want to bring health care back to my country.
You don't see that when I'm depressed, I plead my cases to random famous people. Dr. Phil, why?
Every one of us is made of things that others cannot see.
And yet we judge based off the colors of the surface. But if you look further, you see that the truth is there.
That there is so much more to the truth than first glances.
These colors aren't hard to find.
They just involve more searching than you're used to.
You can call them yellow,
red, purple,
blue,
or you can call them white, black,
African,
female, or you can call them sun-kissed, lava, plump.
Call us survivor,
imaginative,
inspired,
and determined. Look deeper and you will find that we are more brilliant.
We are more luminous.
More iridescent than the things you choose to see. We are ultraviolet.
Infrared. We are lost to the human eye.
We are invisible, which means the inside is visible only to those who look for it.
We are camouflaged by the atmosphere of race,
sex, and nationality.
But when you pull apart
the air of stereotypes
that are all around us,
you will see our true colors.
Our invisible spectrum.
There's Burke High with a strong group piece. Coming second in round 5. They're 1.9 points behind Bellevue East. We'll see how they stack up. And Bellevue East coming right up next.
All right, judges. 3, 2, 1. From low to high, I have a 9.3. A 9.3, a 9.5, a 9.5, and a 9.8. Give it up for your colors. And keep all that love going for Bellevue East.
Hi, I'm Liz Betts. I'm from Bellevue East.
I'm Jesse Whitson. I'm from Bellevue East.
I'm Kate Holman. I'm from Bellevue East.
I'm Bellevue East from Luke Bendigosa.
There is a place not too far from here. It's a wonderful place. It's a place where the sun is always shining, sending down happy rays that can melt away any sadness you might feel. A place where the birds are always chirping and the squirrels play their happy games. And there, in a meadow of wildflowers surrounded by giant trees, is a flock of butterflies slow dancing like teenagers at prom. Awkward, but sincere. The wind blows them gently and rustles the trees. A petal drifts up from the middle of a group of insects to the far end of the field of friendly flora, where a twinkling lake is shimmering from the eternal light. A small red petal floats gently down to the surface of the water, not making a ripple.
There are many ways to get to that place not so far from here. Some take a short walk and a long fall, some take a short drop with a sudden stop, and some find that with the pull of a trigger.
Many ways to get to that place, not so far from here. A bullet to the head, a noose around the neck, or from old age. But the blood leaves external red stains.
The cutting of the rope cuts short your future, and old age leaves behind only imaginative possessions. All connections fade like a spider web that's been disturbed by a gust of wind.
Like a decaying branch from a family tree that turns the oak rotten whole. All that is left behind is empty space, space that can never be destroyed, only changed.
Like energy from the Big Bang, the energy from remaining alive can make all the difference. There is a land, though, that is beneath your feet.
I know of this place because my grandfather lived there. He soon took my pets with him. Like a Pied Piper, he played his food. He took my rats. He took my hamsters. He took my mice. He took my fish. He took my dogs! I know of this place because I have been there myself, but only for a moment.
All right, that is Bellevue East with the final poem of the night in the group round. Coming up next, we
all right, that was Bellevue East group piece. Judges, 3, 2, 1.
Omaha Northwest. So let's see how these scores come in from Bellevue East. See if they can hold on to second place.
From high, we have an 8.5, 0.6, 8.9. 8.9 and an 8.9. Let's give a round of applause for the poets. And then let's bring up to the stage our last group piece of the night with Omaha Northwest High School.
Haley, we need to scoop.
Hello, I'm your lead correspondent, Liz Livingston.
I'm head anchor Michaela Albert.
Field reporter Brittany McCarthy.
And with entertainment, I'm Kale Pfeiffer, and we present
Great Moments in American History.
4 years and 7 adolescent rebellions ago, we look back on the inauguration of
President Miley Cyrus
and her breakthrough policy that redesigned what Americans thought about, well,
everything.
She did what no president before would do.
She got things done.
If you were to peek into any high school in America, you would have noticed something very strange.
Students are just sitting at desks, reading,
writing, taking tests,
and learning on purpose.
Learning is, of course,
the greatest narcotic of the 21st century.
It is suspected that nearly every child has experienced this drug.
Some were only one-time users, but some chose to learn
every single day. Fortunately for the nation, there was Miley Cyrus.
President Cyrus.
And as we all know, Miley Cyrus stopped learning years ago.
And she taught us all the policy, where their invention of twerking took the nation by storm.
For those of you too young to remember, in order to twerk, one only needs
to bend the knees and shake the bottom up and down.
Like a lot.
Cyrus also encouraged most positive behavior, underage sex, swag, sagging, tongue shaking, and crotch grabbing.
As alternatives to other drugs such as good taste,
appropriate clothing,
and belts. Cyrus is the thing who every woman wants to be, who every man wants to
buy expensive things for. Cyrus realized what publicly respected throughout her career.
But when she performed an all-American crotch grab for the Pope, she declared,
well, that was really awkward, folks.
And her ratings went through the roof.
Miley Cyrus's cabinet has also been one of the strongest in years, with Vice President Hannah Montana teaching more music to our students.
I'll teach them only the good stuff. Country is the best. All other genres can go die or something.
Montana said before she started laughing evilly and throwing at mouth, presumably due to her
happy pills.
Oddly enough, That same day, President Cyrus was nowhere to be seen.
According to Speaker of the House,
Kanye Bieber III.
My great-grandpa Justin told me to become a teenage pretty boy singer like him. But the media peddled us stable jobs like doctors or lawyers. President Cyrus truly gave us
the best of both worlds.
Kanye? Is that what that was? Kanye?
All right, judges, this is your last time of the night. Y'all ready? 3, 2, 1, put them up.
All right, our final scores of the night coming in from Omaha Northwest.
8.9, and 8.9, and 8.9, and 9.2, and a 9.4. Give it up for yourself. All right, y'all. While we're tallying up the final scores, we will read those off to you in a moment, but first I want to make a couple of announcements. First and foremost, thank you to the Omaha Healing Arts Center. This is a beautiful venue that hosts both this and the Adult Slam. Also, do you see all this hotness?
Burke
Do you witness
is
this hotness?
really the game changer in this bout.
You too can have one of these shirts.
That brought them a 28
And how much can you have these shirts for, you might ask?
If you are an adult,
highest,
you can have a
overall
t-shirt
score
such
was
as
a
this
9.8.
one for
And then
only
at 28.3
$15.
$15.
But if you're a
That
student,
Burke piece was a
you can
game
have a
changer.
t-shirt such as this
And
one
I
for
think it ends
only
in a tie.
$10. Only $10.
I think things end in a tie between Burke and Bellevue East, if my math is right. And then we have Northwest in the lead with 134.2 points.
Come on, young people, come hither.
All right. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, let's make sure we give all our love and appreciation to these young people. They've done magical things for us tonight, and they deserve that love. So first, give it up for everybody. So, in fourth place, we have Omaha Marian. Give it up for those comments.
In third place, no one.
Yeah!
In second place, we have a tie, though, between Bellevue East and Burke High School.
To make our winners of the night, the team from Omaha Northwest.
A round of applause for the college. If you would like to join us for more slam poetry Monday night at the University of Nebraska in Omaha at their student center, it'll be signed. It'll be great. If you want to pick up a t-shirt, give a high five to your favorite person, and or maybe help me put away chairs so that I don't have to do it all by myself.
All right. Thank y'all and good night. Be safe on the way home.
So, hi, everybody. That concludes our coverage from tonight. We will be back at 5:30 on Monday. I will not be your host. I've got teams in that bout. But we're back on 5:30 on Monday. Omaha Northwest again takes the win with a 134.2. Burke and Bellevue East tie for second with a 128.8. And bringing up the rear is Marian. I didn't get their final score, sorry. But yeah, great bout. Really intriguing stuff coming out of this. You can support this work at ltabomaha.org, ltabomaha.org. The Facebook hashtag, or the hashtag for Facebook and Twitter is LTABGP. And we will be back here at 5:30 on Monday, and then 7:30 for the second bout of the night. So be sure to tune in, check this out, keep tuning in, keep sharing it. We're at youtube.com/ltabomaha. I'm going to leave the feed on. I might actually try and get like interviews, maybe. I don't know. Does anyone want to see that? Is everyone gone? I'll find out. But thanks for tuning in at the very least. And if nothing else, we'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, folks. And if you're in the Omaha area, come out to the film stream screening tomorrow night of the LTAB documentary. That's going to be a really cool thing with the director, one of the directors, and Lamar Jordan, who's in the film out there. But yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm going to turn you back to the room.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, our group piece literally was done like an hour before we came here. What? I wrote, yes. What color are you in? I'm a 10th grader. Oh my god! That's good. I mean, I'm glad you spoke. That makes a lot of sense. It just me.
I've got nothing. I got no words. It's because it's one of those ones that set up like a mystery. I'm like, is this like maybe this is
No.
maybe it's not hers, and then you're like, oh. It's just devastating. Thank you.
I mean, it was actually a prompt. It started out as a prompt. Like, my coach gave us prompt was like, hey, you're gonna walk into a room and you're gonna find one of the most important people lying there dead, and you have exactly. And they were like, you have to dress them head to toe.
Do you want to sit down and talk to the internet about what you thought of the Bout for a second? Hey, Ruth.
Like, I don't know if you heard people like back there, like screaming, cheering, clapping.
Yeah, there's like people watching. Yeah.
Why don't we clean up and go get ice cream? Dude, I was like, nope, I'm done.
Sorry, I tried to get some interviews, but everybody just wants to get ice cream. You know how that is. Everyone's been there. So I'm going to go do that. Good night, folks. We'll see you Monday.